for financial relief to host cities struggling with the cost of staging the tournament. Apparently, communication breakdowns have been consistent. And again, nearly 70 people sent this letter to FIFA, essentially claiming that their organization in the matter and how things are going in terms of putting all of the things in place in terms of securities and running the event smoothly have not been coming through on time. Now, early projections when it comes to the World Cup have shown that it could produce upwards of $11 billion. On the front end of that is about $4 billion worth of security costs in other means and funds in order to make sure that the event goes smoothly. So, the cooperation of FIFA leading up to the World Cup is everything. It's the most important thing when it comes to the local representatives in these cities that, again, are going to be hosting all these people that have to put this on. Now, 11 of the 16 venues are going to be in the United States. So obviously the overt majority of those venues are going to be in the US. But, this is something that comes after months of, number one, ticketing controversies. That was one of the things that these people mentioned in Congress, is that the prices for these tickets are absolutely ridiculous and asinine. Yeah, Tim Weah mentioned it, and Eric Winalda had a freaking aneurysm. But now the people of Congress are mentioning it. And why are they mentioning it? Well, because if you're going to project that we're going to make $11 billion, we actually have to get there first. You don't just snap your fingers and make it to $11 billion. Part of that is you have to have people that are able to buy these tickets, and at an astronomical price. And so some of the controversies around that are obviously FIFA is trying to gouge people because they're in the United States. So let's see how much we can make out of these people. But if they don't end up buying the tickets, they don't end up buying the tickets. You talked about Germany and Curacao. I mean, I know that it's probably not going to be $4 billion to go to that game, but it's still going to be expensive. As well as a lot of other cities. And we already talked about, obviously, Foxborough. It's just, again, I talked about
tip of the iceberg. Boston.
One example, but their scramble for funds and cutting back on the other thing that they mentioned is cutting back on other things the city would normally do that they do every summer in order to accommodate for FIFA because those funds aren't coming through on time. And no, yeah, Foxborough is not in Boston. It's outside of Boston. However, I will say, I bet everybody's going to be staying in Boston. So I'm sure that's where the majority of the hotels and other shit are going to be. So again, it's like they're two peas in a pod, but yes, it is its own city. It's its own jurisdiction. It is not Boston, which adds to the financial strain that all of this could put on Foxborough because they're not Boston. They're their own jurisdiction. So yeah. So my takeaway from all this, Ryan, is, we're beating the drum again. We're not giving you any new information. We're telling you what it is. And it's another day, another dollar. FIFA is a corrupt organization. They're one of the more insular organizations. And the hard part about when I read into this is that they have essentially pigeonholed a lot of these host cities. What I mean by that, certain companies cannot advertise or become sponsors of the event in these cities if they're already advertisers with FIFA. Small local businesses are really getting put in a bind right now because I'm reading deeper into this, but apparently the amount that they're looking for in terms of these sponsorship deals is quite some amount. But let me see.
Well,
so somewhere between $1 and $2 million. Let me see specifically what they said. Go ahead, I'll take your opinion on this. But I think it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, the sponsorships are going to be crazy. You get 1 billion viewers damn near every game. So yeah, of course the sponsorships are going to be bigger. It's the only issue that I have with this whole thing is just going to be the whole tickets and everything. Like if countries like South Africa and Brazil can host this thing, there shouldn't be any doubt that the US can host this thing. And there's a lot more shady stuff going on. Qatar, that's another one. There's a lot of shady stuff that went on in all of those World Cups. And now you look back at, like, if you were to, like, look at a video, there's always YouTube videos on these things. If you were to, like, 2010 South Africa stadiums now, or Brazil stadiums now, or Qatar stadiums now, they're all gone. Like, well, they're not gone. Yeah. They're all just, like, there, but it's all depreciated. Like, they're not used anymore. So all these countries have to build stadiums. it's a luxury to have this tournament in your own country. There's always issues with the World Cup, especially
A
with
luck.
something this size. It just comes down to the ticket prices because the security is going to be fine. I hope, at least based on the Copa America, but I just don't think the U.S. was prepared for the Copa America, and I don't think they put in a ton of effort into really trying to protect the whole thing. Which, by the way, I think Foxborough and FIFA actually agreed on something yesterday in terms of all the money, but it was on the Athletic, and I don't pay for that stuff, so I just saw the headline that they agreed on something. So that's as far as I got on that. But no, it's just the same old stuff. I mean, yeah, I would like to see ticket prices go down, but ticket prices should go down in the country in all sports all the time. The only sporting event where you can find cheap tickets is baseball games, but that is also because there's 81 home games in a season, so you can go to many games and all that stuff. But ticket prices in this country are crazy, and it's all over the place. And I mean, I guess I should say ticket prices are a big thing all over the world, to be honest with you, because the Premier League and European soccer has got massive issues with ticket prices as well. It's just simple greedy owners and billionaire owners and millionaire owners just want more money. And I mean, they have something that a lot of people want, and I can't hate on them for trying to get the most bang out of their buck. I mean, they're running a business damn near, and you got to make money somehow. Obviously, we would like it to be for the everyday fan, but that's just not how the world works. Would I like to see tickets go down? I think the tickets are going to start going down in terms of the pricing because I don't think all these tickets and all these games are sold out yet. So I think we're eventually going to see that come time and everything. I think the ticket prices will go down. Will it go down? Will it go down like? Will it still be expensive to go? Yeah, it'll still be expensive to go. It's the World Cup, and in the United States, it's going to happen. But yeah, no, I just think with this whole thing, it feels like a mess. But if I'm being completely honest with you, if I'm looking back at the history of the last couple of World Cups, again, the World Cups that I've witnessed, our issues are about security. And there are 10 million things that we have already in place that we avoided that all these other host nations had to do because they didn't have the infrastructure. So basically, our issues are really small compared to the past World Cups. It's just ticket prices and security. A lot of other World Cups have had a lot of other issues. I don't know what you're saying. What'd you say?
Sponsorship limitations. I mean, that's the other part of the conversation that I wanted to mention. But what? Just because they did bad things in the past, we can't hold FIFA accountable?
We're talking. What do you mean sponsorships, like commercials and stuff?
Yeah, well, so
yeah, there's going to be limitations. You see how much money it is to go to a Super Bowl?
Hold on a sec. To fulfill the responsibilities and cover expenses, each city formed a host committee, right? Obviously, World Cup host committee. We talked about that in Foxborough. Committees have spent years coordinating plans for security and transportation, right? While also fundraising. So they get a certain amount of that money from the federal government, like we talked about. That was the issue with Foxborough because that money wasn't coming through quickly enough, right? So that was the problem.
But it did.
But finding sponsors, though, or host city supporters, as they're officially dubbed, has proven difficult because FIFA won't let cities sign deals with companies in industries where FIFA already has its own sponsor, right? So they're restricting them already right off the bat. If we have our own sponsor in this area, you cannot get these guys to be part of those host city supporters. You can't have that. Regional food chains, for example, are barred because they share a category with the FIFA World Cup sponsor, McDonald's, all drinks, sportswear brands, cars, airliners. More than a dozen other types of potential host city supporters are off the table. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars. The host committees are also host committees are also limited in what they can offer brands in exchange for millions of dollars. FIFA monopolizes nearly all revenue streams and in and around the stadiums and on TV. Hold on. It protects the exclusivity for which its own sponsors pay. So on one hand, you're not helping cover costs, number one, which is the leading problem that we're dealing with here. And yes, that is a problem. Money is a thing. If people just keep in the comment sections are like, oh, money, you're going to make it. Well, you need money to make it run. This is FIFA's tournament. Okay, so, and then on the other hand, you're prohibiting cities from going to businesses that would normally want to provide sponsorship because a deal that you have with another business is more important than that. And then you're going to not do anything to lower any of the costs. And so, I just listed 3 different ways FIFA's kind of tying these host cities' hands behind their backs. as they're trying to build up and prepare for this? No, that means something. So yeah, ticket prices are ridiculous for the individual fans, but if they can't go out and find sponsorships or they can't find someone to help alleviate that financial mess, and FIFA's just not communicating with them.
So what are these sponsorships for? This is simply ad revenue? Is this simply commercials? Is this what it is? Is that what these is that what it is? Or is it just some billboards up and down the street leading up to the stadium? What is it?
Well, obviously they would pay for it. They would pay for the sponsorship. The
So
companies
no,
would not
you didn't
pay
answer the
for it.
question. Are these sponsorships that these committees are trying to get? Is this simply for the FIFA sponsorships that they already have? Is this just commercials, ad revenue that they're putting on the billboards in the stadiums? Is that what this is?
I mean, I don't know if it's in the stadiums or how they would
Well,
advertise. I'm sure
you
there's a
do
lot of different
realize
ways that they
this
could
is
go about it.
their tournament. This is their stuff. So they're
How does
going
that
to
help
have
the
their
host city,
people.
Ryan? How
Huh?
does that help the host city?
Nate,
FIFA runs away with all this money,
Nate.
and they don't provide securities and money for the city who's hosting the tournament. What are you talking about? What are you
So-
talking about?
Their sponsors is through FIFA. They did the work to do it. It is the FIFA tournament. It is not the United States FIFA World Cup. It's not the
They
Qatar
can't get
FIFA World Cup.
They can't get the sponsor too at the same time?
You can
Like,
put a
what-
sponsor in the street. But Nate, what can these host cities do with sponsors? What can they do? They can put a billboard up and down the street? What are they going to do?
Money.
You can put billboards up on the highway? I don't understand what the whole issue with
How
this is.
they advertise is not the problem. How they advertise is not the issue. It's the money they get from those companies being willing to advertise with the host committee. That's what it is. So they're looking to go out and fundraise to make this event go the way that it should go so that we can make all of this money. But a lot of their options to fundraise have been completely taken off the table because FIFA's like, well, if they're already with us, you can't have them.
So
But they're not. The city's not getting any money from FIFA with those advertisements. Those sponsorship deals are for
yeah,
FIFA.
because it's
They're not
FIFA's
for-
tournament.
I get it, but we're talking about the cities that are hosting the tournament, Ryan. We're not talking about FIFA. I don't give a goddamn what FIFA makes. How does that affect me? How does that affect the taxpayer? How does that affect your neighbor?
Well, it
Why-
doesn't
why do
affect
I
us
give
at
a
all
shit
because we don't
what
have a
FIFA
tournament in
make?
Michigan. We don't have a game in Michigan.
Okay, but dude, okay, you
But
caught
listen,
me on you caught me on a detail.
The sponsorships, FIFA did the work. So why don't they get the money? They did the work to get it all. These host cities, you're also going to have millions and millions of people in your town anyway. It's generating projected $11 billion. You know how many crazy people are going to be just walking up and down the streets?
Projected. That's not a
But,
guarantee.
Nate, you realize that the money of every single World Cup goes up and up and up and up. You know how many people just come to the city to just be in the city and party in the streets? They don't.
So you spend $1 billion in the hopes that you maybe make it back. Maybe. There's
Scared
no
money don't make
guarantees.
money.
There's no. Okay, that's not a good business practice, Ryan
But
Glinsky.
that's what it is.
Like, that's
Nate,
not-
you
no,
realize
it's-
that all the sponsorships and all the
goodness.
ads, FIFA did. So Nate, if
Oh my goodness, are the host cities getting that money? Are the host cities getting
did
that
the
money
host
from
cities
those
do the
sponsorship
work to
deals?
get the sponsors?
So all of a sudden they're restricted. They can't get McDonald's. They can't get airliners. They can't get car
Nate,
brands.
they didn't do
can't
the work
any
to
of
get
those
it.
things.
They didn't do
What do
the
you-
work to get it.
So FIFA got them 10 years ago. So now they can't get them. The World Cup wasn't here 10 years ago. So you did 10, 15 years ago. So they can't advertise with the host committee too. Why can't the company decide that? No, FIFA said.
Well,
you
why would
can't
these
mess-
companies even want to? Why would these? First off, all these brands. There's a McDonald's in Boston anyway, so there's the advertisement right there within the city. That McDonald's in Boston will make money. So here's the thing,
So how does that affect the
Nate,
host city?
if all of a sudden you wanted to have a tournament in New Baltimore in my backyard, in my parents' backyard, and you did all the work to get the sponsors, and you're gonna put it on the billboards, why should my house get a whole cut of the work that you did to get all the sponsors? Like, that makes zero sense.
So what if you looked at those companies and you were like, hey, I'm going to go out and get them to sponsor our host committee. And that deal will help
Why
us
would you have to sponsor a
financially
host
alleviate
committee?
things.
What does that do for a company?
They can't go out and get local sponsors because, dude, FIFA is making the money off of this. The problem we are talking about right now.
Oh, so you're telling me a
massive
massive sports committee's evil and corrupt? It's like they all are.
So why is that just okay with you? Why are we okay? Oh, it is what it is. It's just business as usual.
Nate, we do realize that this whole World Cup is probably, like, if we're looking back on the previous couple of World Cups, this is probably the least problems of the last previous ones.
Okay, but there's problems. Okay, people didn't die.
There's always problems. There's problems in everyday life.
Is that the limit now? What? Okay, so now it's all right. No big deal. It just is. It is what it is. Like, there's zero critical thinking involved with that whatsoever. Like, if we're just gonna pass it off as all right, there's just problems. FIFA's not communicating. They're not providing funds. They're
no. I didn't say it like that. I said there's problems all the time. There's always going to be problems in everything in life.
It doesn't mean we can't talk about it, though. That doesn't mean it's not an issue.
Clearly they've been communicating. If Foxborough and FIFA got things figured out, clearly they got it figured out. If communication is thing, it's a $1 billion company. Do we really think? It is their tournament. It is their tournament. What is that? FIFA honestly could just rip it all up and be like, all right, fine. You guys are so many issues. We'll just go to a different country. They could do it. They could do that if they wanted to. Go to England for crying out loud. They got all the stadiums.
Yeah, sure.
So
do that, but let's see how that goes.
So
just turn around.
So hold on. So all the money that these shops and all these restaurants and all these hotels and all these all the Uber drivers and everything, all that stuff that the city is making, correct? That should that go to FIFA?
What are you talking about? What the city is making?
The sponsor. Hold on. So the sponsorship and the ads and whatever it is, that FIFA has already done the work to get sponsors for the FIFA World Cup. Not the Foxborough World Cup, not the Florida World Cup, not the LA World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. All the work that FIFA did, correct? But in these host cities where the hotels are at, the restaurants, the shops, the Ubers, all that stuff, so should all of that money then be shared with FIFA, or should the city just host it? Just keep it all?
I have no idea what you're asking me, but let me ask you something.
Nate, it's simple. This is what I'm getting at. So all the money that the cities will be making through hotels and restaurants, which, mind you, all these hotels and restaurants are going to start doing this with their prices. So we can't be super hypocritical of that because they know what they're doing. Hotels do it all the time. And in these host cities, I bet you that's what they're telling everyone. So hotel prices, they'll be spiked up. Restaurants spiking everything up. Just putting it out there. So all the money that the city will make through hotels and restaurants and shops, cars, public services, whatever, they'll keep all that money. That's not going to FIFA. Why? Because they did all the work. It is their stuff. It is all their stuff, which is the same thing as FIFA having their own sponsors in the World Cup. It's the same exact thing. Everyone keeps their stuff that they did for the work.
What do you need in order to do that? Financial guarantees.
And these cities have money. That's why they're going to these cities. See, if it went to Grand Rapids, yeah, that'd be a massive issue because you guys don't have Grand Rapids doesn't have the money. It'd be the same thing as coming to Shelby Township.
A $1 billion company, organization, whatever, you should be able to provide some sort of financial means.
They just
clearly
fixed it all.
They are not communicating well. I don't think 70 people would come together and make up a lie to say that FIFA is not coming through on their promises. The sponsorship thing is one part of the conversation, which, by the way, I don't know how many different companies I've seen promote or sponsor, Ford. Ford is on a billion things. Goodyear is on a billion things. McDonald's is on a billion things. So FIFA says, well, just because they're with us, these host cities are unable to go out and get them as a sponsor for their host committee.
What are these companies? What is the value of these companies being in the host cities? What's the value?
Stupid thing I've ever heard. There's no business sense to that. That doesn't take away from any amount of money that they're making.
People from foreign countries are coming over here. Do you think they really care about buying a Ford car?
FIFA doesn't make any less money from their sponsorship because Foxborough says, hey, we're going to get Budweiser to be a sponsor for our host committee.
What does
There
that
is
do?
no less money
What
to
is
be
the
made.
value for that company?
What they pay
We're just
going to
put a billboard in the right before you get to the stadium?
No, they pay for it because why, Ryan? Because what's the most important thing that you want in advertising? Eyeballs. And how many eyeballs are going to be at the World Cup? So these host committees, which are hosting fan fests, which are hosting watching things, which are hosting all these things in the summer leading up to the World Cup, are going to be sponsored, or they want to be sponsored by these companies. And FIFA said, no, you can't do that. Okay, so how do you want us to make this money if we're not able to sign these lucrative ad deals to make these things go the way they want? You want a fan fest. You want these other things during the summer. You want people to get pumped up for the World Cup. But if we don't have the means to do so, then we can't do that. That's as simple as it gets. And I don't think 70 people would come together and make up a lie.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're back. We're back live.
Okay. All right.
We're back live.
Let's send it to break really quick, so maybe we can troubleshoot some of this stuff.
Hold on before we do that. Okay, I forgot how we're gonna do this. So we're gonna have a special guest coming onto the show here. In a split second. So we'll wait for that. If he comes on, but yeah, World Cup, fun.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for the special guest, the surprise guest. All right. We'll do that. Let's take a break really quick, Ryan. Let's take a break. Let's come back. And then we'll continue our soccer conversation here in hour number one.
Nope. We're not doing that now. We're not doing it now. All right.
Already in.
We have a special guest now on the show.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, look at that, huh? Look who's made his way back into the world, huh?
Oh, yeah. What's up, dude? Hey, nice sweatshirt, man.
Well, thank you. Hey, I've been listening to this conversation, and I got to tell you, I love the passion between the both of you on this. I think this is
not gonna lie, this is really weird. I can hear everything before it's said through my headphones.
All right, but I don't know if this point was made. These cities had to bid. Was that point made in any of this?
No, it was not made. I forgot about that.
Yeah, these cities had to bid to host these games. And so these cities, in hoping to bid, had to put together what a bid would look like. They knew the requirements from FIFA well in advance. They knew the security apparatuses that were needed. They know all of that. The problem now is that they don't like the potential outcome from what FIFA is requesting based on the new world climate that we're currently in. And I think they're all raising the red flag that maybe we shouldn't have done this. You know what I mean? But they did. They again. I think Detroit put a bid in to host. I mean, there are a lot of cities.
Keyword Stadium hosted Messi,
and they didn't win.
Yep.
You know, and so I think it's important that when you talk about this, again, the Super Bowl, I don't think a single city in the Super Bowl gets any of the sponsorship money from the NFL. The NFL keeps all that money. The city benefits from all the people coming into the city and all the things that come as a result of them spending all that money. And so I think if we look at it like that, why are they doing that? Because they want 100,000 people to walk through their building, get the chance to see their city and in the environment, and maybe come back another time, right? That's really what you're hoping for. So I don't know. Are we? I guess my thing is, are we mad at FIFA because they're not giving money to the cities, or are we mad that the cities aren't getting maybe what they were bargained for? Or is it both?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're $250 million short in funding right now. I think that was the official number that the amount that was promised to these host cities to run the tournament. I think $650 million was promised. I think they're $250 million short. And a lot of what they talk about in this article didn't have to do with the tournament itself. Obviously, the ticket prices are a massive part of that, and we all agree that that's an issue. It's everything leading up to the World Cup itself. It's all the summer stuff and building the hype around the World Cup and doing all of those things. Now, I get it. I understand it. Obviously, they're not going to keep any of the revenue, the ad revenue that FIFA is collecting from the event, but sponsors for these events leading up to it. It's all designed, in my mind, in order to create some sort of financial revenue or just money coming in, consistent money coming in. And also, I mean, like, can we admit that maybe it could be disastrous with the current world climate and with the price of tickets? I mean, I know that we're like, oh, it's the World Cup, it's God's gift to sports, potentially, but that's exactly it. Potentially, it could be.
Yeah, but
so
that's every single World Cup. There's always a potential for stuff. Every Super Bowl, there's a potential.
I think the bigger issue here is not FIFA. It's, the bigger issue here is that maybe that cities that maybe shouldn't have bid. You know what I mean? Like Foxborough is like a small city according to them, right? They don't have a huge city. They happen to have a big ass stadium in their city. And because of that, they're going to host a tournament game. And there are probably other cities that have a much more robust operating budget and can handle this type of event without having to raise the red flag and do it.
Yeah.
So I think
very well could be ignorance.
Well, the World Cup is coming to the United States. Like, I want to host it, right? I mean, next week is a U.S. Open Cup game happening here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And, the host team, Flint, is responsible for filling seats, responsible for trying to find local partners to help cover the cost of the event, right? The U.S. Open Cup doesn't give them a ton of money to do that. And so what's the benefit for them to have that game in their stadium? Well, it's credibility. It's the aura of being part of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. I mean, all that stuff. Well, then the thing about it, Foxborough's not going to have a sign saying home of the World Cup, right? They'll be there probably forever.
Yep.
Right? I mean, there's things that you get now.
The Silver Dome hosted a World Cup.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like Pontiac.
I think that the aura and this idea that I get to do this, like when we hosted the Super Bowl here in Michigan in 2006, I went down to Detroit. I never went to the game. I remember paying for a cab. I went 1 mile in the cab. It was $174. That was back in 2006.
That's probably like $400.
Right? And so it was, and I'm sitting there going, what? That was stupid. But everybody was having before us to go 1 mile, paying $150 to get in the cab. And so that exact same thing is going to happen in Foxborough. It's going to happen in LA. It's going to happen wherever. And everybody's going to be boosting their prices. So the city of Foxborough is going to gain, I can't tell you how much money in tax revenue from this. It's going to be off the charts. They're complaining now, but when the dust settles, they will have a boatload of cash from this event in their bank account. A boatload. Because all the liquor sales, all that stuff, the temporary liquor licenses that are given away.
Europeans like to drink.
All that stuff is going to generate a ton of revenue.
Yeah,
a ton.
I think it's interesting to look at Chicago as like a case study in this too, because they originally bid to host the World Cup, but officially withdrew in March of 2018, and a lot of it had to do with financial concerns around FIFA and the tournament. And it's like, so that it raises the question, like, why would Chicago not want to be a part of the FIFA World Cup? Like, that's perplexing to me. If we're talking about, it's going to be this wonderland and you're going to have all this money, then why did Chicago pull out? Why did Chicago pull out?
I think Chicago reasons are more aesthetics than anything else.
Internal.
I think aesthetically right now, there's a reason why Chicago is not really fighting that hard for their stadium. I mean, they are, but they're not.
Soldier Field's a dump anyway.
There's a reason why. I think right now they have a huge image problem in Chicago, and it's not a huge. The vast majority of Chicago is not a problem. But there's certain pockets of Chicago that become a very, very big issue, and it's gone down to like the Michigan Mile, right? It's gone down to the Magnificent Mile. People are getting robbed in the middle of like luxury lane, right? And so that has created a huge problem, I think. From
been in Chicago a million times, never had an issue, but no, I hear you.
I'm just saying that imagery is really kind of like, it's been around now for almost a decade, and I think that they're trying to fight that, and I think it's probably why they pulled out. I think that was more of a same reason why we're seeing the Chicago Stadium in Indiana. That doesn't make sense. So, But anyways, no, I saw this. I'm like, you guys, like, I get what you're saying, and I actually think that both of you are right in your statements. I think the whole backyard like barbecue example maybe wasn't the strongest one for you, Ryan, but the other one.
What did he say?
Well, you know, like the backyard barbecue, whatever you said about hosting a party. That one, I don't know if that landed as well, but.
No, it's simple. It's the tournament comes to us. I'm not in charge of all the sponsorships. The tournament's in charge. It's the FIFA World Cup. It is not called the United States World Cup. It is called the FIFA World Cup. And then we also had a comment from Schrock who said, did coverage of various large tournaments, including PGA in Benton Harbor, Michigan, Random Twirling Championship. I don't know what that is. Of over 100 teams at Notre Dame and South Bend. The city doesn't get money. They did get the economic impact from fans and teams coming and eating, shopping, etc. So, like,
well, that comes in the form of, again, remember, every restaurant has a tax, right? There's city taxes, there's local tax, there's parking. All that stuff generates revenue. Now, it may not be direct tax income, but everybody is going to be paying money, and if they're spending money in your city, you're damn right the city's getting a piece of that. So, you know, it might not be a direct thing, but indirectly. You know, you don't think that they're going to have more cops giving out tickets during that time period as well, and giving out more parking tickets and
you're 5 over.
I mean, that entire time is going to be just up the wazoo. Parking is going to be $4,000 to park your car 2 blocks away from the station. I mean, you know, and so but I think the thing that, from my perspective, is I think in a good partnership, everybody has to win, right? Everybody has to win. And we know that FIFA is typically the one that's always winning.
Yeah.
Right? They're always winning.
The corporations always win.
Right? And so what does the NFL always do? They always win. I mean, nobody else ever really, I mean, you get some, you know, but that partnership isn't a two-way street. It's a one-way street in the NFL. It's a one-way street in FIFA. It's a one-way street in the NHL. It's a one-way street in the NBA. All these big conglomerate organizations, like these leagues and these tournaments, these governing bodies, they all control that path. And so I think that if you don't want it to happen anymore, then you have to literally do what Iran's doing, and no one plays. And they make that statement.
Well, that's a different circumstance.
Huh?
Oh, that's a different circumstance.
No, but again,
I think he means just like don't play the World Cup. I think that's what he
means.
Just don't.
They're usually to not play in the World Cup would be enough of like if teams from around the world just said we're not going to do this anymore, we can't stand what FIFA is doing, it would force hands to change.
Yep. But you know that's not going to happen.
If teams drop out of this thing, FIFA would be forced to make a change. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
So I think that's the only way you can impact change. And every NFL team said we're not putting up with it anymore.
Yeah, and there's the other side of it. There are economists that doubt the projections, and I'm not an economist. I didn't go to school for that shit. I didn't go into financials. I didn't go into anything regarding money. So I'm going to trust their opinion a little bit more than
I'll say
maybe
this
mine.
In terms of the whole projection of money. Qatar wasn't supposed to be anything. South Africa wasn't supposed to be anything. Massive issues with Brazil, yet they all came out just fine.
They came out just fine. People died.
Well, okay, outside of building the stadiums, but from a money standpoint, yes, they came out just fine.
We've heard this time and time again when it comes to large events like this, the Olympics, the World Cup, where these countries build massive stadiums that end up going dormant and empty after they're long gone. You hear about it all the time. The great thing about the United States is that the infrastructure is already there. And so no one built a stadium, or if a stadium was being built, it was being built for another need, and this becomes a repurpose. So nobody here right now has spent any money infrastructurally on anything related to this tournament. And so that's the plus side of all this. Now, whether or not there's enough money being generated, the big problem is we turn this into a bougie event, which the average soccer fan who wants to go watch Team Brazil, who lives in the United States, doesn't have $12,000 to go watch the game. And so who's going to benefit from that? Well, the restaurants and the bars are. Right? And so we might not see as packed of stadiums maybe as we were going to see, but you are going to see the restaurants, the bars, all the environments that maybe will create these cool environments where these fans are going to go and spend their $45, $50, eat some food, have some beers, be a part of that. that's where the money's going to be made in this tournament, and I don't think you can project that. I don't think there's a way to project that. So I think that we're going to see a restaurant boom. I think you're going to see restaurants that don't normally open up at 9 o'clock in the morning, open up at 9 o'clock in the morning all day. It's like St. Patty's Day for a month. And so I think that's what you're going to see. I think that impact in this country is going to be far greater than going to a World Cup game and paying $12,000.
And I guess that's where it gets confusing too, because if a lot of these projections are based off of ticket prices and not necessarily all the other residual that comes from everything outside of the game, is that where the instability comes from? Because they don't think that people are legitimately going to buy some of these tickets, especially in the later rounds when it gets into 3, 4, 5, over $10,000. Like that's the thing. Like if everybody bought every ticket, then I'm sure that we would hit that number right on the nose. But maybe that's the biggest concern, buying food and going to those things. But yeah, no, I hear you.
Hey, people bought.
Thanks for dropping in.
Country. And we've made soccer inaccessible in a lot of places because of how we do things in the youth environment. And now we've made it inaccessible at the World Cup environment. I mean, I would love to go to a World Cup game, but I'm not going to spend $10,000 to go watch the game. I mean, it doesn't make any sense on any level. I wouldn't spend $10,000 on a trip, let alone a week. Going to, Right. So it's things like that. So I agree that the economists might have it wrong. I mean, you have to wait and see. But I just don't know how much I feel for a city like Foxborough, who went through the process.
They got 6 Super Bowls. They're fine.
Bidding for this environment and aren't happy with what they're getting out of it when they knew darn well who they were bidding with. Yeah. And this isn't like FIFA has been like known. I mean, FIFA's been pretty rough for a long time. I don't think it's going to be any better anytime soon. So.
Yeah.
But, thanks for having me on. This is great. This is a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, Ryan. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I invited you. I had a lot of text messages throughout the show, so I'm like looking and I see send link, and I go, this has got to be like a wrong text from you, John. And like I've seen my phone is in a spot where I can see it, and I go send link. I go, oh, this has got to be a wrong text. And he's like, I'm hopping in the show. I'm like, all right. And then we lose internet, and then I'm like, what's going on? And then Nate's like, let's go to commercial break. And then I see, hold on, wait a second. John's hopping. I go, we can't.
Hold up.
And then, hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. And then,
right.
And then John's hopping in. The weirdest part is about the whole thing is there's like 3 or 4 words that are said to my left that I can hear before it enters my headphones. So it was really weird. I just had to very zone out all the outside noise.
Well, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that nuance, Ryan. We'll have to find someone that can maybe deal with that better. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, some earplugs in.
No, Hey, I saw this kind of thing, and I thought it was great. I think that I think both of you bring great points, and unfortunately, my biggest takeaway from all of this is that it's not the city's fault. It's not FIFA. I think everyone takes fault in this. It's not just hey, it's FIFA's. No, well, I mean, because again, if you want to host something, you have to understand what's about the part you're going to be dealing with. And these cities know.
Yep.
They know that they have 75,000 people coming to watch their games, and they know what that looks like. You can't fit more than 75,000 people in Foxborough. I mean, so the fact that who pays for that now? I'm assuming the Patriots pay for security around the stadium.
Probably.
With their deal with Foxborough, right? And so if they didn't put that in their bid, but my guess is also as part of their bid, they probably also put it there hey, we'll do certain things and to make it more sexy for people to take them. Maybe we'll pay for our security. Oh crap! And they realize, oh crap, that's gonna be a lot more money because FIFA is saying you need to have extra this. Well, you didn't say that, and now we're out. So my guess is that that's what happened here is we want to win it, and we submitted a bid that made it more sexy, and now FIFA is making it less sexy for us. So, but anyways,
I don't think anybody's innocent on either side. But
I love the growth of the show. By the way, you guys have done a fantastic job, and I've been excited. I have not watched a lot of this show. I just so happen to be hearing Ryan screaming from the room over there. I go, what is going on? And then I turn it on, and you're both screaming at each other. I'm like, wow, this is great stuff for TV.
Wow.
This happened 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
You know, but
It's by design.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it was
Have a
manufactured.
great rest of your show, guys.
All right, see ya.
John Turner, everybody. John Turner.
I knew. The minute you're like, we have a surprise guest coming on, I'm like, oh man, I already know. Oh, good stuff from JT.
It was manufactured, everyone. Before the show, Nate, we're talking about it. I was like, Nate, you pick one side, I pick one side. We'll just argue back and forth. No, that was actually, dude. We haven't manufactured a crash out yet. That's kind of impressive.
2 crash outs in 2 days. Yeah, it is. It's going down on Inside the Game. That people are enjoying it, I hope. But yeah, no, it's